Hey guys, we're going to go over just briefly on the proper steps it takes to disconnect the command post. So the first thing to note real quick, just looking at this panel, is you can see this panel's kind of split into two different categories. Up top, this is all of our AC power. This is what's run by the generators in the shoreline. Everything down here is just 12 volt. So this all runs off the vehicle battery. So when we're getting ready to disconnect from the shoreline, the first thing we want to do is start isolating all these individual circuits up here. So anytime you're disconnecting from AC power in a controlled manner, you want to isolate one circuit at a time all the way up until you get to your main. At that point, we have everything turned off. We can go ahead and turn our power select here to off. So at this point, everything's off. Our AC voltage is now 0. So we're good from inside the command post. At this point, we'll step outside and do everything that's required out there. All right, real quick, just looking at this, right in here, you can see we are plugged in. We do have power. You can tell by looking at our external gauge that we do have power going in right now at just over 240 volts. So the first thing we want to do is isolate this at our main breaker before we do anything else from here. All right, so here we are at the main breaker box, and you can see right here we have the command center, bottom left. We're going to go ahead and isolate this. All right, so now we come back here, and the first thing we want to do is just confirm that we do have this shut off, and we know this by checking this gauge right here. We can see it's now reading 0, so we're ready to unplug this thing. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to turn our external adjustment to off, and we'll turn off the main breaker. And at this point, we can go ahead and start unplugging. All right, so we're disconnected from our main shore power now. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and disconnect our satellite cable, our coax that's running from the dish on the barn. All right, so we're in our electronics compartment here on the driver's side of the command. This is the only upper cabinet on this command post, and so this is where we'll come in to disconnect the coax cable. So it's real easy. All we're going to do is go to this plate right here, and we're just going to take this cable off. Throw it on the ground, and then before we close up, we want to connect our onboard satellite. That's this right here. It's zip tied to the bottom, so there is no question. And we're just going to hook it right back in to where we unplugged the other one, right there on the top. All right, just real quick, we're going to talk about connecting everything back up, because this process may vary a little bit depending on where you're at. So. When we're at the barn, the first thing we'll do is we'll go to the breaker. We'll just confirm that thing's off. Once we do confirm that, we'll come over here and we'll start hooking this thing back up. So real easy. It's all color coded. So all right, so we got that hooked back up. We'll go ahead and turn on our main breaker. Right there. We'll walk back over here, and you can see on our gauge here we do have power. It's showing 240 volts. So this is where the process might change just a little bit depending on where you are. If you're connecting a shoreline elsewhere, say you're out on a deployment somewhere, this may not read 240. It may read 220 or 230, so we have to adjust accordingly. So depending on what our input feed is, we want to select our dial accordingly. Okay. At the barn, we always have 240. You can see it's 240, so we'll turn that over to 240. And then we'll go ahead and turn on our main breaker here. And we now have power. You can see our internal gauge is reading 120 volts. So we know we have power going up into the command. All right, so now we stepped up in here. We're gonna go ahead and start firing this panel up. So the first thing we wanna do here is change our power select to external, EXT. So we got that turned. So if we look at our AC voltage, it just went up to 120. So we know we have power and we're ready to start powering everything up. So just like when you shut everything down, we'll do the same thing powering up, turn on your main, and then just start activating one circuit at a time. And just activate whichever circuit you need. But that's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Hot in, so hot in here, so hot in.
We still going? Have to edit that. All right.